Hi, I'm Liz Coley. Welcome back to Undercover Reading. We're reading The Captain's Kid. We're in the middle of Chapter 3. I'd never been aboard a starship before, and they don't put specs and photos on the web, I guess for security reasons, so I was not exactly prepared to find myself in a small elevator lobby. We'd just come through the boarding corridor into an airlock, and then through a heavy pair of metal doors that served as the rear doors of the ship's spinal elevator. Well, that made sense, I suppose. Dad waved some sort of security card in front of an electric eye, and the inner doors opened to let us into an octagonal room. 8 sets of elevator doors, including the ones we'd just come through, formed the octagon, and next to each one was a sign. My eye jumped to Elevator 7, the one that promised food in Hub B. Elevator 7. Hub A, greenhouse. Hub B, cafe. Hub C, quarters, 482 to 568. Hub D, quarters, 1121 through 1200. Hub E, cargo. Elevator 8 offered a dining room on Hub B as well. Where to, Dad, I asked, 7 or 8? I'd recommend the cafe right now, casual buffet style round the clock. By the way, ship's time is 15:20. Your watch comms should have synced when we boarded. I glanced at my arm. So they had. Dad took my duffel and mandaloot. I'll stow these, kiddo, and I'll see you at 2000 for the feast. He headed back into the elevator that we'd passed straight through. I checked out that sign as well, trying to memorize my bearings. Elevator 1. Command and navigation. Hub A, water processing. Hub B, waste processing. Hub C, quarters 1 through 80. Boarding level. Hub D, quarters 641 to 720. Hub E, cargo. Engineering and propulsion. The doors were sliding closed. Wait, Dad, where's our cabin? I yelled. His voice boomed out before he had vanished entirely. Quarters 1. Mrs. Sirivolu gave Karthik a peck on the cheek. I will also take your luggage back to our quarters and unpack. Father is due back in the galley, so when you're finished with your friends, you can find me. She pushed the button to call Elevator 8. I need a map, and soon, I said. No problem. Karthik activated the virtual large screen on his watchcom. All the onboard directories, schematics, schedules, news feeds, and everything you need was enabled when we passed the last security point. Come, let's eat. Those bagels we saved from breakfast are nothing but revolting pocket crumbs. While our elevator glided silently along the spinal shaft of the starship, I pulled up the schematic map, which looked a bit like an ear-cleaning swab, with 5 rings suspended along it. The cotton tips were command and navigation at the fore end. Engineering and propulsion were all the way aft. The stick in between was the octagonal elevator axis. Each of the 5 rings was a hub, A through E, each linked up to the elevators by 8 corridors, like spokes. Very nice, very orderly, and lots of places to explore later. I grinned to myself. Brandon Webb, about to go interstellar. We were alive. We'd made it. We would leave on time. Food was straight ahead. All was well. And then I remembered last night and the disaster with Audrey. And suddenly my feet didn't want to carry me through the doorway. Audrey, Sherry, Mo, and Con were together at a table for 6. We had no excuse not to join them. Well, there you are, finally. Con's excited voice was an octave higher than usual. What happened? Where have you been hiding? We've all been trying to reach you by comm. Karthik and I made eye contact. Dang, we hadn't worked out the details of our story. Braver than I, Karthik plunged in. First I overslept, then he pointed at me, overate. So by the time he was done packing and we got to the lift, you'd all left without us. At least the last part was true. Sherry rolled her eyes. I can't believe you waited till morning to pack. What a total noob, Mo said. You know, you could have caused a huge delay. The captain would have postponed launch. Karthik, I can't believe you weren't on top of that. Karthik shrugged. Yes, I blame myself entirely. Mo looked startled. I wouldn't go that far. Band-Aids should have been ready. I swallowed my pride. No excuse here. But wait a minute. How'd you get here so soon then? Audrey asked. The passenger trains aren't even back down yet. Hey, was she talking to me? It looked like she was talking to me. Oh, it wasn't a problem, I replied as casual as possible under the circumstances, my pulse about twice normal. We hopped a ride on the freight elevator and came up with supplies. Which was perfectly true, leaving out a few details. Oh, well that's good, Audrey said. We shouldn't have worried. My heart leapt. She admitted being worried. Karthik and I did such a good job of playing it down that we went in seconds from being the center of attention to old news. While the girls made plans to explore, my mind wandered. Half of it relived the amazing elevator lift ride. Half appreciated the bowl of vegetable pasta soup Karthik handed me. When's dinner? I asked during a lull in the conversation. You're in the middle of eating and you're asking about dinner? Audrey's eyes had a definite teasing glint. Do you think of nothing but food? What? No, I was just asking because tonight's special, right? Sherry came to my rescue. First night feast starts at 2000, so we've got 3 hours to kill. Game room, anyone? What kind of games? I asked. Chess? Cards? All the space brats cracked up. Just come, Karthik said. I forgot you've had a deprived childhood on Luna. 3 octants on Hub B were devoted to recreation, thanks to architects who knew how long a year on a ship could stretch. The doors slid open at our approach, revealing a games arcade. Oh yeah, my childhood wasn't as deprived as Karthik imagined. In fact, Luna planners were just as clever about providing virtual adventure for those of us raised with no blue sky, no rolling oceans, no waving plains of wheat or forests. For a population of 600, this was a dang nice arcade. 10 stand pads, 6 thrones, and 4 horses for mounted games like the medievals, race cycles, and fly pods. One stand pad was already occupied by a kid who looked to be about 9. His arms moved as though he were sword fighting or splatter painting, hard to tell with a temple visor covering up his eyes. You want to play singles, doubles, or group? Karthik asked. I didn't hesitate. Group. There were 6 of us, which promised great mayhem. Plus I could get a few hits on Mo without him taking it personally. We all adjusted our visors and logged into the system. The welcome screen projected onto my retina. I recognized the shining software logo, but these games were newer than the ones in my local arcade. Hey guys, let Brandon pick the first game since he's a beginner. Audrey's voice came from my side, past the earbuds. I laughed silently and blinked twice to select the second game down the list. Carnage in the Cretaceous. Promising. The welcome screen faded, and I studied the primeval scene that unfolded in vivid yellow, brown, and orange. Audrey and Sherry took a while to make wardrobe choices for their avatars. My personal avatar wore hunting camo for this game, and I gave myself a scruffy, almost adventurer beard. Karthik's avatar looked just like himself, only taller. Something swerved huge and low over his head, a pterodactyl. I crouched instinctively as the shadow passed over. My avatar's hands moved up. The game rod morphed into a rifle. As I blasted the retreating bird, another shot rang out from Karthik's location, and the bird fell. The machine credited Karthik with the kill. I gave him a thumbs up, as did my avatar. Good try, though, Karthik said. You didn't miss by much. Yeah, I shouldn't have missed by anything, but the game rod was misaligned. I entered the secret backdoor sequence on the control buttons. Developer code popped up in my field of view. With eyeball directions, I corrected the misalignment, upped my range, doubled accuracy, and saved out. Meanwhile, a flock of the flying reptiles had swooped in from afar, and everyone was shooting away madly. Karthik had my back. Audrey and Sherry were dressed in identical leopard skins with bows and arrows, which was as chronologically inaccurate as my chemo and heavy weapons, but gave me serious caveman thoughts about Audrey's long blonde hair. While I was staring, my avatar took a serious shoulder wound, which fortunately didn't hurt at all. Where was Khan? The 6th player on the field was a tall, powerful woman in a red jumpsuit. Bad camouflage, but her aim was magnificent. Even with my code enhancements, I only came in a close second to her in kill score. The steaming corpses of pterodactyls melted into the ground. I pulled off my visor to compare notes with Karthik. Khan was on the pad next to him, removing earbuds with a puzzled frown. Brandon, are you sure this was your first time? I barely beat you. Wait, that was you in red? I knew some guys played in drag, but I'd never figured con for the type. Good game, for the record. I never said it was my first time. Some uninformed people just assumed. Ow, stop it! Audrey slugged me in the arm with bruising strength. You rat! Nothing ever felt so good. Maybe I was forgiven. Time vanished as we raced through an asteroid belt, painted giant virtual canvases, and stormed a castle on horseback. As soon as we had dismounted and taken off the gear, I checked the time. I was soaked with gamer sweat. Hey guys, I'm going to have a long hot shower before dinner. A barrage of laughs hit me. How soon they forget, Karthik said. Mo added, by long do you mean the whole 300 seconds? Oh yeah, right. Back to water-conserving showers. I already miss Earth. At least it wasn't a dry sonic shakedown. See you guys at the feast. And that's the end of this episode. Please subscribe and tune in to the next one. See ya.